this day has come. This has been months in the making. My name is Nell Merlino. For those of you who don't know me, I think that's, maybe there's one or two people in the room that don't. I am the president and founder of Count Me In for Women's Economic Independence. And we help women grow micro businesses to multi-million-dollar companies. This is a whole new process that we're doing, really that came about as a result of me meeting Ariella Bach, whose beautiful showroom this is, who you're going to hear from in a few minutes. Really starting to, and Lynn Tilden, as a matter of fact, because we sit on a committee with Walmart, at Walmart, to help them figure out how to spend $20 billion with women suppliers by the year 2016. And in the course of those meetings, it became very clear that there were needs for different kind of bridges and different kinds of opportunities for women in business to meet women like Lynn and Ariella and the gentlemen that are sitting here with us, Joey and Yehuda, to really help us understand how do we get into places like Walmart? How do we scale our businesses in the ways we've dreamed about, but in a lot of ways where we don't know exactly what the steps are or who the right people are or whether it's the right thing for you to do now, what's the timing of your approach to something like this. Is this the right thing for you and your company? Maybe you need to partner with somebody, maybe you need to license your product with somebody. What are all the options out there to help you grow your company? And what is happening today is, I'd say, just such a gift and highly unusual that you get to talk to people who've been there and done that. You've never seen them before, and really finding out where you stand and what you need to do to move forward. It's also about listening. I would listen to everything they say, not because you're going to do everything they say, but you might. I mean, that could be good. But you're going to be able to take what it is that they know and start thinking about how and if it applies to your business. I see this as a day of transformation, a day of listening and getting feedback. It's not a day to be defensive or whatever. You have what you have. You got what you got now. What are you going to do moving forward from today? So I would like to thank you all for the courage of coming and being part of this. And now I would like to introduce, I first want to tell you who's going to be working with you today. Isa Sarabay is here, who many of you know, our Vice President. Isa Sar will be running the day so that everybody gets a chance and we keep on time because we've got a lot to do in a day. And then Ginny Victory, who many of you have spoken to. Ginny is standing over there. She is an absolutely brilliant strategist and coach who's been talking to all of you. Getting ready to take advantage of this opportunity. And Deborah Kay, a member of the Count Me In board, is here. And can I tell her what you guys are doing? Sure. And Karen, what's your last name? Kelly. Karen Kelly is here with her. They are working on an article for Fast Company about what we're doing here. So I just think a great opportunity all around. We're going to be videotaping, so there'll be opportunities for that, photographs. So all of you who are on social media, get there. An important thing for the Count Me In community, this is something you have to earn. This is not something that everybody in the community gets an opportunity to do. Okay? Very important. This is not like open to the public. This was something where you let us know that you wanted to come. We looked at what you were doing and thought this made sense. So this is one of the benefits of belonging to the Count Me In community. It's not one of our big public things. If this works, hopefully we're going to be doing more of them. So you're the first ones. So let's be easy with each other and try and figure out what's the best way to do this today and moving forward. So with that, I would like to introduce my dear friend, colleague, supporter, Ariella Bach, who's going to give you some of the great wisdom that I got the first time I talked to her, and why I've been hanging around and keep hanging around with her now for forever. Anytime I talk to her, I learn something. So I would please, let's thank her. Ariella.
Honesty, hard work, and humbleness. I'm going to start with the hard work. Doing business with Walmart, I would probably equate to what people say about the Army. It's the hardest, best thing you could ever do. You need to be prepared. It's not just the first meeting, but the entire relationship with them is absolutely and would become the hardest thing you would do and you would take on. And you need to brace yourself and be ready for that. And the hard work also means that you should do it yourself. There might be people that tell you you need reps and you need consultants and people to help you do business with Walmart, and that might be right for your business. But at the end of the day, somebody told me this about 15 years ago, you don't give somebody the keys to your own house, so you handle your Walmart business yourself if you get the business, because there is no rep, there is no employee that's going to treat the business like you treat it and have the passion that you have for it. So they want you to get on a plane and come see them tomorrow, you make that happen. So you have to be ready for the work that it takes, not just to do business with them, but then on an ongoing basis. And before your first meeting, there's a lot of hard work involved. They're the largest retailer in the world. And if you're lucky enough to get a meeting, you must walk in prepared and have respect for who they are. Because of their humbleness, which I'll talk about in a minute, sometimes you could be with them and forget, but at the end of the day, rightfully so, they're very demanding. They're the biggest company in the world, and you have to walk in there understanding who they are, who their customer is, what they have in related products on their floor, what the price points of those products, to the best of your ability, find out what kind of margin they work on and what their expectations are. And the basic questions that you can find out before the meeting, you find out. One of my favorite books is Sheryl Sandberg's book, Lean In. And it's a great book. Her background is more corporate, and so a lot of what she's writing relates to women working for corporations, but it really refers to entrepreneurs too. We have to lean in just as much. And some women start their own business because they want more time with their family. Working with Walmart, if that's something that you choose to take on, is around the clock. Got a nose for sniffing out people that aren't genuine. If you don't know something, don't get defensive. Nobody knows everything about everything, but it's how you answer. That's a great question. Let me get back to you. Do you have an inspector living in every country you do business in? As a small business, you probably don't, but that's what Walmart requires. But you could have an independent contractor, so it's a variable expense, not a fixed expense. So when you have a Walmart order, you could hire an independent contractor that's on your payroll, which is what they require to be there. But if you don't know that, say, I will look into that. I understand that social compliance and quality are of utmost importance, and I will do what it takes. I may not know the answer now, but I am committed to following all of your rules and regulations. Answer like that. If you sound defensive, or if you start making up an answer, they're going to sniff you out. So just be honest, tell the truth. Nobody knows everything about everything. Nobody has all of the things you have to have in place to do business with them if you're just selling mom and pop. So it's okay if you don't know. It's okay if you don't have it yet. But if you convey to them that you're committed to learning about their policies, if you convey to them that you're committed to following their rules and regulations, then it'll be okay. But just don't be defensive. Acknowledge what you don't know. Ask how you can find out more about it. Or tell them you'll get back to them if it's something within your own organization. Or how many workers are in your factory. What's the fabric content? What's the price of that component? I mean, sometimes you'll get quizzed, and it's okay not to know, but let them know you'll get back to them. In your follow-up letter, bring up the points they asked you about, and let them know that you found the answer, or you're researching that answer, and then don't drop the ball on things that might have been important to that particular buyer. And the third thing is humbleness. And that's a real balance, because you're there to pitch your product and present yourself. And it's a real balance, and I think more difficult for women than for men. And Sheryl in her books talks about that. For a man to come up and talk about the great things he's done and his company has done comes easier to men, and it's more accepted from men. When women are aggressive, we're not thought of as well, so it's very hard to promote yourself and be humble at the same time. And the best example I can give of that, and who I learned that skill from, is from Walmart themselves. They are an unbelievably humble company. They're the largest company in the world, and they acknowledge that they can always be better. So it's this amazing balance and almost contradiction about talking about the greatness of your product, but not acting personally braggy. Being, showing that you're knowledgeable in what you're doing, but not acting like a know-it-all. So those are the three things that I wanted to talk to you about: the hard work, the honesty, and the humbleness. And if you remember those three things, then I think you can be very, successful with Walmart. So good luck to all of you.
That you want your business to be. Then you have to have processes, and that's what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about in terms of costing. You've got to have the processes to manage your business properly, and then you need to multiply that by urgency. If you're not running, if you're not out of breath all day, every day, you don't have a chance. So, propensity, it's people in the right places, it's plan, your strategic vision, it's the processes to manage your business intelligently, times urgency. That's probably the most important thing I can tell you. It's what I repeat all day, every day, as a typical woman repeating herself.
Can you repeat again?
Sure. Because in the end, I may be tough, but I'm still a girl. All right, people.
Right.
Plan times process times urgency equals propensity. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the process, because I could talk to you about everything, but today I'm here to talk to you about the process, or the financial process. One of the things that I have learned, and which startles me, because I buy companies, some of them which are 180 years old, that have tremendous history, you would think that people would understand how to do business. The most important thing is you need to know your costs. You need to know your true costs, which means you also need to know your costs as your business grows. So the first thing that I make every one of my companies do is have a pricing model on every product. That means every product, every SKU, every color, if it changes the pricing. So that starts with your revenue. So if you're selling to Walmart, what's your wholesale cost? Now, discounts. Do you have any discounts? You have to take the discounts out of there. Will you take returns? If you miss those two pieces, well, guess what? You're dead, right? So when you're pricing that, you must take that into account. Then you go to your cost of goods sold, right? If you're making your product, what's your cost? If you're shipping it in, what's your cost? What's your freight? What's your warehousing cost? What are all the pieces of the puzzle? Every dollar of it. And then, by the way, what's your overhead? Do you have an office space? Do you pay rent? Do you have people in that office? We call that, SG&A, but not SG&A as it goes into your GAAP financials, but you have to allocate that overhead. So if you have $1 million of revenues, and you have $100,000 of costs, well, guess what? You have to take 10% out before you see what you're making. So many times people come in, and Walmart says, well, what will it cost you? And you say, okay, well, it cost me $5 to bring it in, so guess what? I can sell it for $7. Well, you've got your discounts, you've got your returns, and how are you going to pay your overhead? So before you know it, you're trying to meet the pricing, but you're out of business. Second thing I do, and so I have that, I'm telling you, for things like Spiegel catalogs, I have that on every product, all the way down. And then I have, in that instance where there are discounts, I've got my cadences running through too on when I discount and how I discount. The other thing is you have to have an interactive financial model.
morning who is making a very interesting product. I think that this actually could help with her, what she's doing. So, quick context. About probably 6 years ago, I was with a company that is today the second largest licensing company in the world. And we had wonderful businesses at wonderful retailers, whether it was Macy's, whether it was Kohl's, whether it was JCPenney, you name it, we were doing business. And yet when it came to Walmart, we couldn't get in the door. And we had all the contacts, we had all the relationships, and we were making trips, and we were doing all the things that you're supposed to do. Hopefully we had some of the other sort of foundations that were spoken about this morning as well. But it didn't matter. We had nothing. We had nothing to speak about, zero business. And within 2 years from that particular moment in time, we were doing over $2 billion of business. And so what changed between approximately 2009 and 2011, I guess I'm off in my years a little bit, but to give you context, within about a 2-year window, what changed was the concept of licensing with Walmart. And so let me tell you just for a second before we get back to those $2 billion of business and where it came from specifically, let's just talk about what licensing is for a moment. Licensing is the bifurcation of manufacturing and marketing. And so if you let's take the opposite of licensing for a moment just to show licensing. If you look at Apple or Nike, some of the best branded companies in the world, I think we'd all agree, these are guys who have perfected both, right? They're great manufacturers of great products. Everyone loves their iPads or their iMacs, but they're also great marketers, right? People are emotionally connected to those products. Take Nike, same thing. With the exception of Nike and Apple and a few others, very, very, very few companies are good at both. And so you might be the best manufacturer in the world, you might have the best item, you might have the greatest new idea, the greatest patent, and that's wonderful, but if nobody ever hears about it, or no one cares about it, or there's no emotion, you've sort of struggled and landed flat on marketing. You might be the opposite. You might be the best salesperson in the world. You might be able to tell your story and get people riled up and thrilled about what you have to offer, but if you're missing some of the elements that Lynn was just describing, you can't make money, you're out of business, your operational skills are not there, and so you've got no manufacturing or operational ability. In licensing, the concept of licensing and why it works is that with the premise that most people sort of either veer to one side or the other, by splitting the two responsibilities in half, you win. And so if you're a great maker, a great operational manufacturer, go license a brand, rent a brand in effect, from someone who has built a great emotional power to their consumer with their brand name, and use it. And yes, you'll pay a fee for that, but so what? Instantly, people will recognize the product that you're selling because they identify with the brand, and so you'll have a leg up. And then the opposite is true as well, and that's the side that actually that I've always been on, which is on the marketing branding side, which says we may not be able to open up stores or run to China and find the best factory or know where the inspectors are that Ariella was talking about. Might not know how to do that, or that just might not be something we're good at, but we know how to build brands. And so we'll go find people like Ariella who are good at, not just good, they're the best at what they do, and we'll try to get them to license the brands from us, and everything can work. And so circling back to Walmart for a moment, and by the way, just outside of Walmart, to sort of open your eyes up to licensing for a moment for those who may not have seen it, if you've ever
about me, not going over my bio so much, but I've been at Walmart, doing business with Walmart for 35 years. 21 years old around Walmart. 21 years old, I also been doing business in China. So those were both very entrepreneurial moves at my age and for my life. I've been in Walmart 35 years and seen all of their changes and everything they've gone through. For me to understand the crowd a little, I just want to ask two questions. Who's been in business for more than 5 years? Half the crowd. Okay, how many people doing business at Walmart? So I understand what Lynn spoke about a little bit, and I think that is like paramount and a given. that you need to know your numbers and you need to be able to financially deliver and be in business to the scale that they need you to perform. What I want to speak to you about a little bit is really understanding your market and being focused in your point of view. So what that looks like to me is, a lot of people say, I know my business and I make a widget or I make a t-shirt or whatever I make, and I live in the world that I live in and I understand my product. That's not even half the game, because so many people walk into that meeting and get blown away by not understanding what it is, what there is to know. So what I look at as understanding your market is, I don't know, I would say, if I had an hour meeting, I think you should probably put in 100 hours to research against that meeting. That's a lot of time. So what does that look like to me? That means shopping stores, seeing your competition, understanding what Walmart expects of you, whether it's a factory inspection or where they make the product, what price strategy they expect, what margins they expect. Understanding that business is really paramount to getting to, as Lynn would say, the promised land. The other thing is that I'd say is a lot of people walk in and they want to do everything. And they start with making a cover-up, and they're making, I'm going to look at the flip-flops and just use that as an example. But they want to make everything. It's like, wow, this is, the creativity juices start flowing, and you're all over the place. So my expectation and my point of view is be focused at what you expect of yourself. So it's know your business, have a focused point of view. And the last thing is know what you're going into. So when you go into that Walmart meeting, the novice at some level considers that they will just buy what I have because it's a great idea or a good item. I've served up thousands of things that are better than what they have, that they don't make them. And a lot of times we have to understand that something has to come out for something to go in. It's pretty basic. And a lot of people just think if my idea is good enough, they'll just move that over a little bit and then put my product in there. And that really doesn't work. So what that leads me for you to think about is why you? Why you? Because the first thing they're going to think about is, do you have the financial ability to deliver? Do you have something that I don't currently have? Are you going to be able to produce the product on a timely manner, quality, right, and do what you say? So I already have someone I'm doing business with. I'm going to get rid of them to bring you in. Why? So that's usually the roadblock that most people get stuck at. And if you don't deal with that before and really say, you know what? I understand what you have. I know the market. I did my research. I spent my, whatever I'll call it, my 100 hours against my 1 hour meeting. I know my product better than anyone, and I know your floor very, very well. I'm a professor of your business. And I'll tell you why you need. And if you can't articulate that, stay home. That's kind of what I got to say.
Excellent. On TV, and they say, oh, that's familiar. Oh, I want to engage with her. I want to try her product. And then maybe Walmart would give me an opportunity. But all I can say is you have to have speed to market. You have to be able to fill the pipeline. I have an incredible logistics team, 400,000 square feet.
That's exactly right.
Today in Nigeria, there's a young woman who's the first person in her entire family to ever walk into a bank, and she opens a savings account. And the money that she saves is going to be her first asset, and it's going to keep her and her sisters in school. And today in Pakistan, there's a micro-entrepreneur who is going to be showing at the New York Gift Fair. because she understands now that napkin ring holders are not this big. They're actually 2 inches in diameter. And by her selling her beautifully crafted napkin ring holders to North American markets, she's now going to move from being a subsistence, low-income, but talented entrepreneur to a small entrepreneur. And in Paraguay, there is a young man from a very poor family who got the education that he needed to be attractive to the private sector in Paraguay. And now he's been hired into middle management, and that is what breaks the cycle of poverty in a family. My name is Fiona McCauley, and my company is called Making Sense International. We're based in Washington, D.C., and over the last 14 years, this is the kind of change that we've been affecting in communities, the kind of economic growth that we've been creating in over 40 countries. So in many ways, what you're all here doing for all of us is what I know how to do in the rather messy and complicated developing economies of the world. So what does this have to do with Walmart? Walmart has an initiative called the Women's Economic Empowerment Initiative, and they have 6 goals, and I'm going to focus on 4 of them. One of their first goals is increasing the supply chains from farmers so that they can get the necessary produce in their stores. But women farmers like this, at the moment, they don't know necessarily how to produce the quality, how to get from farm to fork fast enough so that the products, can stay on the shelves. But they want to be in that supply chain to Walmart because that is going to change their lives and the lives of their families and communities. Making Sense has been working in Nigeria for the last 18 years using simulations like this one, which teaches low-income farmers how to understand how to operate their farm like a business. And they're seeing a dramatic increase in their revenues. The average of the 10,000 farmers who we've trained over the last 8 years are seeing an increase in over 1,000% in their profits. Walmart also wants to be...
Could you explain that better? I don't know how that's used.
Sure. Well, this is a business simulation game that's being developed for people with low literacy, and by going through it, it's about a 2-hour process. Farmers are learning how to make better business decisions for their businesses.
What do the months represent? Can you just say what that is? January's?
Sure. So this represents the planning cycle in an average farming business. So they're always having this, farming is a cash flow management issue, a business. So the family will often...
Unlike other businesses. It's speed to market though. If you don't, your inventory dies in a minute in the agricultural business. So it's a very difficult business from that perspective. If you don't sell through immediately, it's gone.
Absolutely.
Perishables.
Absolutely, right on. And so so Walmart wants that food on their shelves, and the farmers want that food on Walmart shelves, and if that happens, then all the girls go to school, and the women don't die in childbirth, and they're moving into the middle class, and that's good for everybody. So one of the second goals of Walmart's Economic Empowerment Initiative is that they want to empower women, entrepreneurs, factory workers, and so on. So my company, Making Sense, for example, in Pakistan, we are working with women who have incredible skill for very high-end embroidery, and they have the possibility to embroider garments that can sell, high-end in New York for thousands of dollars. But if they don't understand what a size 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 is, and they don't understand how you have your display ready at the New York gift show, then they will never enter into that value chain. One of Walmart's other goals, of course, is that they want to know the great work. They want the world to know the great work that they are doing. And starting in 2007, as a result of being in the Make $1 Million Business Program, I pursued one of my dreams in the community economic development field. And that was getting all of the key actors talking to each other. So in the same way that you need, to be talking with your suppliers and your PR people and so on, in the international economic growth industry, helping low-income people in developing countries get ahead, we needed to have government talking to ministries of education, talking to funders, talking to youth themselves. And so we are now considered one of the leading organizations, certainly in the US and globally, in bringing these stakeholders together. So we have a platform that we can offer to Walmart to have them share their messages with the world about what they're doing, why they're doing it, and an opportunity for Walmart to learn from all those other stakeholders how to do what they're doing in this new space even better. What's in it for Making Sense is that we're seeing, because Walmart is the biggest company in the world, the value change that they buy from are changing communities, making sense gets seen as a market leader because we're providing access to Walmart and to the information. I have a chance to meet with Walmart on Thursday with their Senior Director of Corporate Responsibility. I want to close the deal.
Yes. But I don't know what you're pitching. I gotta tell you, you've just gone on, I mean, with all due respect, you've just
Yeah.
gone on, and I have no fucking idea. Excuse me. Please don't write that down. I have no idea what you're pitching. So you're gonna go in there, you're gonna do all this,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting back. You gotta start with your pitch. What are you pitching? What do you hear? What do you want them to do for you?
What do you want from them?
What do you want from them? Do you want them to, do you want to be there, the intermediary that delivers food to their shelves? What do you want to do for them? You have this incredible meeting, but we're all sitting here. Do you know what you pitch? Do you know what you pitch? No? Okay, so we're
Ready
giving
for
you,
it, then.
take this, by the way, take this as good advice.
Oh, I do.
You just got
Thank you.
saved
Yeah.
from going in there
Yes.
and losing them, okay? So why are you going in and what do you sell?
Uh-huh.
Okay, what are you selling to them? Just giving them a forum to say how good they do. They don't need that, all right? They're out there doing that in all their stuff. So the question is, what do you want them to do for you? Do they want and what will you do for them? Do you want to take these women farmers and be that intermediary that allows them? So you have to come in with a
What are you
pitch.
selling?
I'm selling professional services.
Explain that.
Okay, so I want to co-create with Walmart. Let me reverse, hear what you said.
Okay.
I want to bridge for Walmart. I want to be the organizer.
No, but is it proprietary to someone?
Yes.
This fabric?
The
Okay.
fiber is. The fiber that makes the fabric is Lenzing out of Austria.
Out of Austria?
Lenzing.
Oh, I do a lot of cleansing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got a number of great companies before you who serve as models, right? So Under Armour started from a great
Right.
shirt, in theory, to serve a need, football, whatever it was, whatever Kevin Playing's story is, we all know it. Focused on the brand, in an impossible space on Nike, Spanx, another one. You've got so many. From a branding standpoint, I mean, I think I buy into it. Just keep pushing the brand.
Right.
You've got your angle, focusing on the proprietary, of course, but shining as a brand and seeing where that takes
Let
you.
me tell you
is-
what I'd
What's the
focus
best
on.
way to
Let me
do
tell you
that?
what I'd focus on. Women wearing undersuits. I'd go a little bit up market, given your price, right? The fact that women can wear this undersuits, right? Because it's an sufficiently expensive product. It's smooth, it feels great on a body. And what I would do is make sure that your designs are a little bit more upscale. And I would sell it to women as the perfect, you feel like you're walking around in your t-shirts or Lululemon, but you're actually dressed up all day. For the woman who's working 14 or 15 hours a day, can feel like they're home in sweatpants, but actually look great in a
Right.
suit. Because you need some niche here with this. Like I live in Jim Person and Chaser t-shirts. First thing I do, I'm like getting undressed in the car,
Right.
trying to put on t-shirts. I get on my airplane, the first thing I'm doing, and I want to wrap myself in it.
Right.
First thing I say is, let me feel it, right? So I would buy this,
Here,
but
this is what you need, right here. That's your V-neck underneath your suit.
no,
It's
this
too
is,
casual.
no,
Really-
you
It's too
The
casual?
neck, the
By
neck.
the way, for me, you'd have to like sit. I actually had to pin my dress today to make sure I wasn't making the men crazy.
Why'd you do that?
So you're saying this is too casual?
This is a women's convention.
You know why? Because Ariella makes me want to be a better person. Vegas.
Yeah.
I have one comment.
But I take this a little bit
to her
up market and you're finished.
And the way I would do that, being, a little bit more versed on the detail, is all of your necklines are kind of bound the same way.
Right.
Yeah, it's too
It's
casual.
too casual.
This is too casual for your price point.
Okay.
And you need a niche, right? You need a niche to sell to distinguish
Dress in your
yourself
neckline.
from Jim Purse or from on these things. So if I would, for me, I would get on QVC and I would have, or Home Shopping.
I'm on both of them,
Okay,
so it
because
doesn't
I
matter.
prefer, QVC is local and it's a bigger audience, okay? I would get it so that it looks a little dressier, so I can feel like I'm wearing something that looks great, but I can go all day and feel like I'm home on a weekend in my t-shirt. Because you need a little bit of a niche, okay?
Do an edge like this, like it's unfit, you know, you don't see
Right.
threading.
Again, after the birth of my first daughter, Molly, I was so proud of her and the name we had chosen that I wanted her name on everything. So that's what I did. My name is Colleen Mook, and I'm the founder and CEO of Baby Be Hip. Baby Be Hip is a web-based retailer selling personalized baby gifts that new parents will love and use. What started with a single product in my basement in 2002 has since grown into a 2,500 square foot facility with 5 employees, dozens of products, and thousands of customers. Right now, we sell to friends and family and new parents and corporate executives and their staff. Where I want to talk to you guys about, where I see some growth is in the wholesale market in 2 areas. The first is to sell embroidery blanks to other small retailers, embroiderers like we are today. The other is to sell to big box retailers for the baby registries. There are 4 million babies born a year in the U.S. It's a renewable market. Babies are always being born. As a mother of 4, and after talking to a lot of expectant parents, and I've been to many, many baby showers, what people are saying is, yes, they like registering at the big box retailers because it's accessible and everybody can get to it and they can get most of their gear. Where they're frustrated is with the basics. I believe that basics do not need to be boring. I started Baby Be Hip 10 years ago because my daughter Molly, yes I know, was a spitter-upper. So I always had her dressed to the nines, and I wanted her accessories to reflect my style. And I said, you know what, all babies spit up, why not let them spit up in style? So if you go to Walmart, so this is the personalized bark claws, still our #1 seller. So the baby registries at Walmart, people like that they can get their strollers and their gear and most of their items. However, some people will not register there because they can't get the basics that they like. Or if they get them, they're not thrilled with them. And then people that buy from the registry are saying, you know what, I don't want to go spend, on average, people spend $50 on a baby gift. They don't want to spend $50 on giving $20 worth of this and a few, bibs that aren't so great. They'd rather give a gift because everybody is watching, that to get the wow, that moment. So what we propose is, what about the essentials collection for baby, from Baby Be Hip? And I know I shouldn't say collection.
It's okay.
No, that's okay.
That's okay.
The collection stuff with retail, with clothing is different.
Okay, so what I propose is baby gifts. People are going to spend more than $20 on average. So you don't really
Not at
need-
Walmart.
maybe
Walmart,
not.
it'll be under 20.
But when people buy gifts,
They can't spare $20 themselves.
The average income of people at Walmart is $32,000 a year.
For family.
You're talking about a different, and look,
so the people that register, so I was trying to pull in other people to register that may go to Target. But
Then
they're
they'll
not
buy
going
at
to go
Target.
to, yeah, they'll buy
Then
at
they'll buy
Target.
at Target.
So my hook was, what about if you got somebody that you would usually go to Target, but you could hook them the baby registry at Walmart?
You want to go to Walmart, what's your one best basic? Not with name, but
No,
something,
So, okay,
like I
these
saw
are
you
the best
with that
bark
little.
claws.
I think
no.
name online is not a bad thing, by the
But-
way,
but
because
that's-
it's personalized. She needs to buy in bulk or buying from a supplier.
But she
that
also
has
had
it.
that great little baby
So,
thing, the baby
we do
towel.
that.
with it.
Faucets.
Yeah,
So
I mean-
this is an alternative,
Yeah,
an
but-
updated.
yeah,
So
so
cute.
what would that cost? What, not that, because I don't
yeah,
want that. I
Maybe
want,
$25, $30.
But how do you have to
Much.
wash those burp cloths that
These
are
are
like
the old-fashioned birth cloths that that parents use day in and day out.
Yeah, but those, how do you have to wash yours?
The same exact
The
way.
embroidery,
These are
everything?
the same thing.
Those washer and dryer, no problem?
what does that cost you to make?
Well, right now, I'm in the process of cutting out the middleman. There's 5 of them.
We are the service and natural product line of removing head lice. You know those little bugs that go on children's heads? You may have seen us on live with Regis and Kelly, because Kelly Ripa spoke about us twice. I'm allowed to tell you that she's our client because she told the whole nation. And we were also spoken about on Housewives of New York City. We have 100 contracts, over 100 contracts in the New York area with schools and camps where the movie stars and actresses and politicians send their children. So they are always our clients. We have a very professional service for the screening and removal of head lice. We have 4 locations. Moms are welcome to, dads also, are welcome to walk in, bring their children in for a free screening, and if they have it, hopefully they'll hire us, or at the very least, use our all-natural product. Walmart, by the way, has lice products that are junk. We are
To your point about our last presenter, we know sort of what your action plan is, but everybody's gonna leave here today by 4 o'clock with an action plan to make what you've said come true faster. So I wanted to thank all of our experts, and thank you again to Ariella for us taking over your showroom and your entire.